Welcome, Facebook Live. Jason Dukes from Captain's Chair Coaching. New series, Visionaries. It is visionaries plus revolutionaries. Put the words together, came up with Visionary, and the cool thing about it, when I did that, in the middle, the word solution popped up.
Wow, that's awesome. Didn't
even know that was going to happen. So the purpose of this video series is going to be doing it every Wednesday and Friday, along with the 30 days of videos on my other channel, which I'm also saving on the Captain's Chair Coaching page here. But the purpose of it is visionaries and revolutionaries, entrepreneurs, to tell their story in service of inspiring other visionaries, visionaries and revolutionaries. We're going to start a visionary revolution.
That's too much to say.
It's too much to say. We're gonna have to figure it out. I gotta go back to the drawing boards. Whatever. We'll just keep it cool, all right? Visionary.
That'll be it. Up to you. You can say it.
We'll say it. So, first guest in this video series is Tina Kerekes of the Danny Clinch Transparent Gallery here in Asbury Park, New Jersey, and so wanted to have her share her story of the gallery, and inspire you out there. So Tina, first of all, thank you for being my first guest. Yeah. So you can start wherever you want to start.
Well, I guess we just mentioned at Danny Clinch Transparent Gallery, and I had met Danny a couple years ago. He was walking on the boardwalk, and he looked cool. He looked like Tom Waits. So it's like, hey, and he goes, hey, you should go to a book signing. It's at the Stone Pony with Preservation Hall Jazz Band. And I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll go. And I don't go because I really don't know who this cat is. So he had a book in his hand. It was his latest book called Still Moving, and he's, I look in a bookstore and I see this book and I start flipping through the book. I'm like, holy crap, he took that photo? He took that one? He took the photo of Tupac? I'm like, I can't believe I should know who this guy is, and I felt really dumb. But a couple years ago, I had a gallery on the boardwalk. It was next to a cafe, High Voltage Cafe. My good friends Sonia, Jason, and Allison owned the cafe, and we were attached to the cafe. And it was the murals, the mural artists from the Wooden Walls Project and the Sea Change Project, Parlor Gallery, Jen Hampton, and Jill Ricci, who had invited me to come share the space with them. So it would be the artists from the murals, and it would also be my furniture curated to make it look like a cool place to hang out.
Nice.
And we did really well. What was exciting about this gallery is that a lot of people, when you walk into a White Walls gallery, it becomes intimidating. And they're like, oh, I can't really afford anything in there. Or you just can't imagine it on your home, but it's set up like a home, like a very cool home with the ocean views. You're like, oh, I could imagine this in my house. So we sold a considerable amount of furniture and art, which was great for everybody. And the cafe, we just had like a great vibe. And when I saw Danny that summer, he really loved the idea. Him and his wife came by and checked it out, and we had dinners together, and we bonded a friendship. And I curated the space next to mine for him, and it was a weekend exhibit of his art and with my furniture, and it was very cool. And he thanked me, paid me, and he said, pick a printout. I'm like, no, it's okay. He said, no, pick a printout. So
I'll take it.
I picked Tupac just to remind myself how dumb I was for not knowing who the guy was, right? So we had to move from their space on the boardwalk. It was going under construction. It's actually it's going to be an amphitheater. I'm looking at it right now from the gallery. Sure. And it's going to be beautiful, but we had to move out. And I was going to look for another retail space to rent for us to continue what we were doing. And I couldn't find anything. Asbury is blowing up and in a good way, and we just couldn't find what we were looking for that we could afford. So Danny had sent me a message, and he goes, hey, your print's ready. I'm like, oh, cool. Meet me at the hotel. Sure. Meet me in the front space, which was always empty. I would walk by it and say, what are they going to do with that space? Because it was so cool. And I walk into this empty room. It was him and iStar and the development company and these designers. And he's like, they want to do an exhibit with my art here. I'm like, oh my God, that's fantastic. And it was only supposed to be for a couple months. And he goes, yeah, but I can't do it without you. I was like, that's even better. Oh, wow. And I said, well, who's going to run it? And I put my hand up, and he goes, now that's even better. So not only do I get to I mean, his stories are incredible. The photos that he's captured, the moments that he's been in, and these fly on the wall photographs. I'm just like, it's so cool to show everybody in the world that comes through here this space, because it's super special, and it's not just special because there's a hi. I'm doing an interview. How are you?
Oh, you're fine.
It's all right. The sun's out, right?
This is totally live and totally Asbury Park.
Yeah, and
so.
they're coming in, so that's awesome.
Yeah.
So I forget where I was talking about. Just about how special this gallery is, because it's way more than a gallery, and it's way more than us selling prints and art and books and furniture and whatever. It's about what we've done with the community, and that's my most important part of my position here is still creating content for that, so everybody feels like they're welcome here, and not just the people that come from out of town. It's the people who've never been on the east side of the tracks, and which is really important, because I met so many people that were like, they live right over the railroad tracks on the west side, and they're all super creative, and they're young designers and filmmakers, and and they're in anywhere from like teens to their 20s, who never went to the ocean.
Wow.
It's blocks away, and who's never been on the east side, who's never been into the Stone Pony or these legendary rock venues that everybody from all over the world have been in.
Right.
So I feel like this place has become part of that solution, and I really love that, and that's why we got extended. Our stay was only supposed to be a few months, and we got extended again. And then we just got extended again to October, and
wow.
So I keep hoping that we'll do great things here.
So it's a story of a lady walking on a beach, sees a guy, and an empty space.
Yeah. That's just one part of my story.
Wow.
But that's a great story, and I meet so many people that come into the gallery that are always, like I meet so many people that are inspired by Danny's work, or they're also inspired by who I am and what I've become, and I can tell you, I came from negative dollars. My mom was a single mom, and then I always dreamt that I'd be an artist. And even when my school counselor was just like, maybe you should take some business courses.
Do some business courses.
Maybe you should take some typing or shorthand, and I was just like, yeah, okay, well, I'll do that, but let me just keep moving on with what my dream was. And I always thought that, when people told me I had a black cloud over my head because of my family, because of our poor neighborhood that we grew up in, I didn't believe that. And I remember thinking the first day that I stopped believing in that, things changed. Things came my way.
Yeah.
I wished for things and it happened. And it wasn't just wishing like, oh, I wish I had $1 million. It was never that. I wish that I could go to school. I found a way. I wish that I could, own my own store. I found a way. And I always like to tell people, don't give up, and always have that dream, and always fight for that dream, and don't just dream it, just make it happen. Because when you make it happen, it does happen.
Right.
And it's very seldom that it doesn't happen. And if that happens, it's because you're supposed to go a different way, or at least that's what I believe.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of people don't get that there always has to be like that mindset shift that just changes everything, like takes you from all the beliefs that you used to have to the new beliefs that you're going to have, that end up creating all this and really allow you to be who it is that you are. Yeah, that's really important. Any word of inspiration that you want to give the people out there who are listening now, live, or going to be listening?
I just remember, I have a mentor. His name's John Fabian, and he had always believed in me, and he was actually a big help in me forming my career and making smart business decisions. And I just remember him saying to me, at the end of your life, at the end of your time, they're not going to look and see the car you have or the home you have. They're going to see how many lives you touched, and that's very important to me. I always try to remember that, because if I struggle, I know that there's somebody out there struggling more than me, and I think it's important for me to let them know that I did this, or I helped someone else with this, and if I can keep doing that, I think that's important. And another second thing that happened to me, I have another mentor. His name is Kenny Kuyanga. He ran a surf shop, and he was absolutely nuts. And he
sounds like a visionary.
He was amazing, and he had taught me so much about selling. He was like the coolest guy in the world. Like, he would see somebody driving down the street, and they didn't have sunglasses on, and he would run outside from his shop, because they were stuck at a traffic light, to hand him a pair of sunglasses. Hey, protect your eyes.
Right.
Bring them back if you're not interested. If you want them, come on, I'll give you a better deal. and no, I'm not kidding. 99% of the time, they bought the sunglasses.
Right.
And it's just like, and he just gave it like just, you need them. You know what I mean? And then they came back, or they bought more. And I think that was very cool that he believed in the idea that he was protecting them. And they were like, you know what? I trust him. And he gave me that he was an amazing salesperson. I learned how to be $1 million seller because of that gentleman.
So awesome.
But one thing he did was my very first day working for him, he was out late the night before, and he had wrote me a note because he wasn't there, and I knew nothing about surfboards. I'm like, and I had to break in the back door of the shop, and I had to figure out how to open up the register underneath, and I walk in and I see this incredible note that he had written, and it was I saved it. I don't have it with me, but it was what really stuck out in my head is he said, if you don't know the answer, if you're not sure what to do, imagine as if you own this building. Imagine if you own this surf shop, and that'll be your right decision. And I always remember the most important thing about running a business is having ownership, really believing in what you have, and even if you're working for another company, is always, treat it as if it's your own, because nobody loves it more than you, right?
Right.
So I think that's great advice.
Yeah. Wow. I'm gonna take that. I have about 7 people I need to use that advice with today. Or could hear that. I'll probably just share this part of the video with them.
And then another gentleman, Michael Walker. He's someone that I've partnered up with a lot of projects, and I've worked together with him for a German fashion house. And I remember I was struggling with something, and I was sending out an email, and it was a request for something, and he came back to me and he goes, did you get a word from the email? And I'm like, no, I can't believe they wouldn't answer me. He goes, it's not their fault. It's you that have to close the circle. And I'll never forget that, because I was like, he's right. I'm not a pain in the ass for reaching back and saying, hey, did you forget about me? It's just really just saying, you know what, you're busy too, I'm busy too, just answer. And that always worked for me.
Right,
So I think it's important advice for anybody.
Yeah, responsibility in a relationship.
Yeah. Close the circle. Close the circle.
I love it so much. Well, thank you. So, do you want to take us on a tour if you want to? It's up to you. You don't have to.
We can do that, but we'll take a walk around and we'll just show some of the images in the gallery.
Really quickly.
And I'll tell you one great story.
Okay, cool.
Right?
Let's do it. You guys happy about this? Let's go. I have shaky hands, so you know what? I'm gonna turn the video around and we'll shoot if I can figure out how to do that. There we go. Boom. All right.
So remember my part where I talked about Tupac right here? This photo was taken in 1993. He was shooting for Rolling Stone magazine, and Tupac met him at his apartment in New York City, and he only came with one gentleman, and he had taken off one shirt and put on another shirt. And Danny saw his tattoos and his scars and said, do you mind me taking a photo of you like that? And he loved working with Tupac because he was humble, he was very smart, he was very photogenic, and he also knew the importance of being photographed for a rock magazine because he was an up-and-coming hip-hop star, hip-hop artist. This was for the inside of the magazine, and Danny had saw this photograph, and he said, wow, it's really worthy of a cover.
Yeah.
And sadly, he gets his wish because it did go on the cover when he was shot and killed.
Oh, wow.
And so that's a hard thing to take a look at, because he really loved working with him. And Tupac had wrote him a letter, and the letter said, let me see if I can not paraphrase it, was, if a photograph is worth 1,000 words, a great photographer is worth 1,000,000.
Wow.
Yeah. Pretty awesome.
Wow. Well, yeah, and passing it on down, a great storyteller is worth 1,000,000. And
So for me, I always
gallery.
love the story behind the photograph. And one of my most favorite photographs is the Patti Smith photograph, because I read this book, Just Kids, and I am an artist, so I like to read words that are visual. Visual dialogue is very important to me. So in part of her book, she writes about her and Robert Mapplethorpe being in a room with just hardly any furniture, like a bed on the floor. They're holding hands, telling stories about their childhood, and they had 3 records, and the 3 records that they had was, one of them was A Love Supreme by John Coltrane. So what I love about this photograph is that she told Danny that she likes to go to record stores and flea markets and yard sales to look for this record, and she buys it because she said she can't bear to see it not being played. And those words make me cry.
Wow.
But I love about the photograph is that she's looking the same way as John Coltrane. I love the light behind her. I also love that the record seems to be blending into her body, that she did save it, that it is a part of her. This photo kills me.
Yeah,
it really does. It's an amazing photograph.
That's amazing. Wow.
Yeah, and she's badass.
Yeah, this is amazing it's amazing to get to see someone doing exactly like what they were sent here
Yeah.
to do.
This
And it's a shame at the same time that that's you have to be a visionary and a revolutionary to do exactly what you were sent here to do.
Well, I mean, how do you determine who that is?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
how does that person get separated from the people who are considered not, or who they think they're not? Because you said that to me, and I was like, I'm not that.
Right. Meanwhile, everyone, most people are attracted to this city because of that.
Right.
Because,
I mean, Asbury is music and art. I mean,
Yeah.
you think about it, and you think about the diversity and the incredible talent that's in this city, like the musicians themselves on both sides of the tracks, the artists, the writers, the filmmakers. We have such a big pocket of talent in this city. It's incredible. So that's why I love Asbury Park. I came here 16 years ago to do the interior of Asbury Lanes.
Oh, great.
I was asked, and I kept saying no. I'm like, I'm not going to Asbury. And I'm like, no. I came back from California. I opened up a store for somebody in California, and like, no, come check it out. It's really cool. It's the city's changing. It's so cool. So it's like I finally said yes, and I walk into Asbury Lanes, and it literally was 1961.
Wow.
I walked into a time zone, and I fell in love with it. And I worked with a team of creatives that were all extremely talented, and we made it with no money. We
Wow.
did the interior, like it was a labor of love. Nobody got paid. Nobody, we didn't have any money to buy the Antico tiles or the upholstery or the furniture. We just did it because we loved it, and so I have a lot of great memories from Asbury Lanes. But at the same time, like, I'm happy to keep building. That's
Yeah.
what I'm a builder. I'm like, if somebody offers me a job, I have to say to myself, what am I building?
What are we building, right?
Right,
Yeah.
and that's all I think about. That's like, how much money am I making? I never think about that,
Right.
which is maybe a bad idea, but it's really what I'm building. So.
Nice. So beautiful. Very cool. Yeah, one last one, and then and you guys have bands here some weekends also.
Yeah. This is the stage, and a lot of fun people. I always say we had music last night, and when I say we, it's never me. I'm just the groupie. So on the stage, the people that have been on the stage have like Brian Fallon has been here, Nicole Atkins, Jesse Mallon, Joseph Arthur, so many incredible. Gary Clark Jr. was here and made everybody pregnant.
Oh, Lord.
My knees were so weak. It was so incredible. It was so special and intimate. Bruce Springsteen has hung out here to see music. So many incredible musicians. Our friend Rachel Anna Dopkins, who curates the music, she's an incredible musician herself. She plays like, I want to say 25 instruments, but maybe 4, and she's a beautiful singer. She invites all of her friends, a lot of the local bands that are like rising up. It's so cool to see someone with so much talent like continue to like make the marks that they're looking for, like opening up for big bands, playing on big stages, being noticed by the world, being written about in all the magazines. And we know those people, which is incredible. And to see them become the people that they wish for is kind of exciting.
Yeah.
Really exciting. I am such a groupie, it's not even funny.
Me too.
Let me see what other great one. You know what, I'll tell you the Neil Young one, and then we'll wrap it up.
While we're walking over to Neil Young, what would you have to say to someone just getting started as a visionary and revolutionary, like they don't have the context or the history or whatever, they're just getting started?
I think it's the people that they hang out with. I think it's the positivity that the mindfulness that they believe in, and how they treat other people is important, because those people will see you. Negativity doesn't usually work. I always try to. I hate sometimes when I'm driving and I get stuck in traffic or somebody cuts me off and I curse at them, and I'm like, you know what? I might know that person, or I might maybe they're having a tough day, and I always try to check myself. But I think just believing in yourself and not giving up, and really just making sure that your beliefs are positive. I think that's the most important thing, you know. Nobody wants anybody negative.
Yeah.
Nobody, you know.
Except negative people.
Yeah, and because it definitely attracts other people, and
Yeah.
I don't want to attract that.
If you're attracting negative people, take a look.
And I've dated a couple. I've been in a lot of, you know, I've let go of some relationships were really tough, and
Yeah, you got to.
and I do love them still, but I have to make sure that I continue to do what I believe in, and that is to do great things for the people that I care about, which is the community. A lot of the things that we do here with the Girls and Boys Club, KYDS, you know, Asbury Music Foundation. And I love mentoring young students. I mean, it's really important so that somebody can say to me, you know what, Tina taught me that, and that means a lot to me. Because there's going to be so much better to me. It's ridiculous. But I love this photo right here. This is Neil Young right here. And I had asked Danny a question, who he was starstruck when we first started, you know, talking about his photographs. And he had said Bob Dylan, Neil Young, Keith Richards, kind of. Not necessarily that order, but in this photograph, he had the opportunity to take pictures of Neil Young, but they only could do it at the Lowe's Hotel. So he looked in a newspaper and saw a 1948 Cadillac for sale and called the guy up. And he goes, is the car still available? The guy goes, yes. He goes, if I give you $100, can you meet me at the Lowe's Hotel? I need to take pictures of Neil Young. The guy goes, I love Neil Young. So he came with his wife. They do a whole photo shoot outside the hotel by the car, and Neil's manager come up, and he goes, we have a show at the Ryman tonight. We got to go. And Neil looks at Danny. He goes, you think they'll have enough pictures? And Danny goes, I don't know. He goes, you think they'll let me ride it to the show?
Oh.
And Danny goes over to Neil in the car. He goes, hey, Neil wants to drive your car to the show. And they're like, we don't care as long as we're in the back seat. So in the photograph, the husband and wife are in the back seat, and Danny captured it while they're getting to the gigs.
That's hilarious.
They get to the show, and there's tour buses outside, and one of the tour buses is the Kings of Leon, and Kings of Leon sees this incredible car pull up, and they're like, holy crap, look at this car, and they see Danny Clinch. Oh, it's Danny Clinch, so they run out to go say hi to Danny Clinch because they knew him. And then Neil Young stepped out of the car, and they got starstruck and went right back in the tour bus. They didn't come out, and they saw Danny after the show, and they're like, "Dude, you got in his car." And then Neil Young is out of the car. So that was so. Speaking of starstruck, it's a great story. I love this photograph.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
Well, yeah, wow. And the story, who would have known the story behind that photograph? Wow.
A lot of times, I love the stories that Danny tells me about the photographs, and I also like to tell people I make the stories up, which is not true, but
yeah,
you know,
well,
there's been a couple like Danny's like, that's not true. I'm like, okay, tell me again, tell me the story again.
This is so great. Thank you so much for being our first.
It was awesome.
Visuationary. Revolutionary.
Visuationary.
Yes, visionary
Keep saying
and revolutionary. Yeah, I'll keep saying it.
I'll keep saying it. Maybe I'll believe it.
No, believe it. It's here, and I'll keep saying it. And
thank you, Jason. It
yes,
was awesome. Thank
the
you.
world will keep saying it.
Thank you so much.